Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. We're doing film review now on this Denver Broncos New York Giants game that was on Sunday. And Colby, I think you are right. We were both surprised that this ended up being an afternoon game, what normally would have been for a local game here, 11 o'clock game or early game. Anyway, with that said, let's go on with this film review. We're going to start with defense. And like I was saying yesterday in the postgame, I really believe the Denver Broncos' strongest defense was the offense hogging the ball and the time of possession. I believe time of possession was really the defensive factor in this game. During the preseason, Colby got it right. He said that we would see Fuller getting picked on, and we just see that exactly that in this video right here. I also want to point something out that I pointed out last year. If you notice, this is Justin Simmons' side of the football field. And when on these go routes, it's just my opinion, okay, that Justin Simmons' responsibility should be, to assist on these go routes. And it's just like last year. You got the DB out on an island by himself, getting no assist from Justin Simmons. And look, Kareem Jackson has to come all the way over. This is a failed type of a defensive system. And if all of you that want to insist on blaming Fangio, this is not a Fangio design from the Bears. Each safety assisted the DB on his side, the corner. But they won't let Justin Simmons, here's a still shot, and there's Justin Simmons way down the field looking onward. I'm really done with this. This is going to keep happening over and over and over again until, they stop it. Make Justin Simmons accountable. On the very next play, we have Von Miller being Von Miller. Again, a man out on an island. We'll get into that, too, as this game goes on. The Broncos were key to stop Barkley, but just as a side note, that this offensive line is probably one of the worst in the NFL. You get what you get if you're Barkley. On the next play, I just want to point something out. While the defense did a good job stopping the run, their pass rush was definitely something else to be desired, especially with this offensive line. And I'm a little bit worried that, and you should be worried. I mean, you get a better quarterback and a better offensive line, because this was going on when they had the ball, in which, like I said, the best defense was the game clock. I mean, the New York Giants got rid of their best pass rusher interior. They got corners. You saw how good that really worked out for them. I was right, Colby, to say that the play design by Shermer Munchak was kind of a hybrid Kansas City, Josh McDaniels variety. Definitely Brady ball. And here we got kind of more of the Kansas City flares. During this film review, I'll show where he's throwing these darts right in front of him. Classic Josh McDaniels / Brady ball, which actually it's a smart offensive scheme, in my opinion, for this. And something I really liked, too, I was glad to see, and I'm glad that Shermer didn't just give it lip service. The Broncos were getting stuffed in the early going with the run, but there was some stick-to-itness on a second, and I don't know, it was a second and not very good. They stuck to the run, which I think, again, it's something that's good to see, and they just don't get into panic mode. Although at the end of the game, and when it was all said and done, Bridgewater threw for a little bit more than I would have liked. Granted, he did fantastic, but these fourth down conversions are a bit of an issue. You need to be committed to really get these third downs nailed down. And speaking of third downs, and this is the kind of thing that me and Colby have been discussing too, I'm not really thrilled about the play call on third down. Maybe you incorporate this 3 wide out go route at a different time. But I think this would be a good time to get that heavy tight end system, keep the chains moving, so we don't have to go for it on fourth down. So I just want to talk about this coverage sack. And yes, Dave Logan called it a coverage sack too. Really, if this had been any competent quarterback, this is totally on Daniel Jones. His offensive line actually gave him plenty of time. Coverage is good. You throw the ball away. I'm sure they brought their step up from last year, but this is not a good O-line. this quarterback definitely should have got rid of the ball. But again, this O-line or this D-line does concern me. 1st and 10. This is some good offensive line work by the Denver Broncos. But then, I just want to point out again, this is not the 3 wideout set. They get into the dual tight end set where the offensive line is getting assists from their tight ends. I think one thing I'll say about the Broncos offensive line, when the tight ends are in, the tight ends are doing a really good job blocking for this team. And I really just don't think that's even being mentioned by anybody. Now, last year, I got on Shermer for incorrect design. Matter of fact, I got on Cody Rourke, too, because the guy didn't know what he was talking about for sure. This is the proper way to let in the free runner. You don't let a free runner on a design play that puts the quarterback's back at the free runner. This is a little chip and go by Schaubert. Chips lets the free runner come in. The lineman, the play is designed all the way to do that. Of course, the quarterback is facing the guy he's going to throw the ball to instead of getting blindsided in the back. But this is the proper way to set those type of plays up. Now, when we got Williams, we had some problems with him wanting to bounce out to the outside, more of a perimeter runner. And we said that this guy needs to get developed into a between the tackles runner, because if he could be special. We didn't hate the guy. We weren't hating on him, but we were, very critical on the pick. And it's finally, it sounds like maybe Munchak understands this too, the running backs coach, because they really are working him to be a between the tackle runner. And if he can do that, he could be a special kind of guy. Again, if you have to bounce out, maybe just make it a one-time per half, if even that, per game. But he has to also get help from his offensive line. And I think they're having these heavier tight end sets really helps that out. And to make the point again, with 4 minutes and 22 seconds left in the first quarter, we get into these heavier tight end sets to keep moving the chains, where we were saying we got that 3 wide out, go route. I just don't like the call. I think this moves the chains, and we converted a 3rd and 2. Don't have to go for it on 4th down. So on a 2nd and 8 with 3:04 in the game, Teddy Bridgewater's line pretty much collapsing around him. Teddy really gets kind of lucky here, but it's still great pocket presence and a heads up by the receiver. Overall, just a really good defensive play by the Giants. Play goes nowhere, but you got to credit Teddy Bridgewater for not making this worse than a 3rd and 7. Here's I got a little bit of a beef. You shouldn't have to be going for this on 4th down. They go to the well again on 3rd down. It doesn't work out for them. I think that they need to be a little bit smarter with their play calling. Second time this just fails on them. And Bridgewater probably, I don't know, he's got to be careful that this, he doesn't get this ball picked off. The offensive line does an okay job, but it's not a complete job. I want to bring your attention to something, especially you, Colby. Last year, I showed film of the Pittsburgh game where Locke got injured. I showed where Dalton Reiser basically got played by his man, and you see exactly the similar play on those two guys, Reisner and Bowles. You see the tackle that Reisner is assigned to charging towards Bowles, and this is something that Reisner's got to keep under check. Now, this is the same thing that Pittsburgh did, except the Giants, it took them a little longer to do it. With Pittsburgh, it was almost instantaneous. What happens is, so if you look, the tackle is going towards Bowles. That's Reisner's. He's got to prevent that from happening. Reisner is definitely not quick enough to catch it. He gets to Bowles. Bowles' man gets around and goes after Bridgewater. Just fast enough that it throws the timing of this up. It's also good to see that Patrick is off his injury. Seems to be pretty much healed completely. I think Cortland Sutton is probably still nursing a little bit, trying to get that injury back into full football speed. The minute 24, I just want to say that I think the Broncos, I think Shermer was a bit too predictable with the running game. And instead of throwing those go routes on 3rd down, maybe, you try that on a 1st down instead of, everybody knows you're going to run the ball. On the 2nd and 8, 56 seconds. This is straight up Brady ball right here. We got a Hamler, running a route that's just directly in front of Bridgewater. This drive has been really good offensive line work. I just want to see more consistency out of it, this offensive line. A bad throw by Teddy Bridgewater and a breakdown in offensive run blocking leads to a 3rd and 12. Reisner completely miffs his run blocking assignment. Again, like I said, we need more consistency out of this offensive line if this team's really going to go anywhere. 3rd and 12, and really a problem is this red zone, in my opinion, too. I'm really disappointed in the breakdown in the red zone. The Giants smartly don't really make rushing Bridgewater a priority. They just plug all the lanes up, the passing lanes up, and that's all she wrote. 3 points, that's all you get. A similar play that the Giants defense was getting burned on. This way, Galladay, essentially the same type of 3 wide out. Again, not very much push up the middle. Yes, he gets rid of the ball rather quick, but still not quick enough, in my opinion, to see the lack of push up the middle. Okay, I want to point this out to the detractors. When we put out Draymond Jones isn't good enough by himself, and we got a lot of crap. This is the crappy Giants offense, crappy Giants offensive line. You go up against even medium offenses, in the middle of the road offenses, let alone the better offenses. Where is Draymond Jones? I mean, they've really, the push up the middle, it has not been there. Von Miller was the outstanding player, but he's the edge guy. He's not the center guy. It just, you leave crap comments, but I'm showing you film, and I need you to tell me, where is he? 11-15, 1st and 10. I mean, this play should have been for a lot more yards than it was, but, it's Daniel Jones and it's the Giants. Daniel Jones had a pretty clean pocket the entire game. Again, where is Draymond Jones? Tell me, please. I'm showing you film. And Giants also convert a 3rd and 5, picking on our linebacking section, which we've discussed many a times. Josie Jewell, a step behind. And again, this is just the bumbling, stumbling Giants. We haven't got into the better offenses yet. In the name of people making stupid, dumbass comments in our comment section when they have no clue what they're talking about, Colby was concerned of having Surtain out of his norm, playing the slot. Here we have the Broncos defensive line being stuffed by one of the worst offensive lines in the league. Again, where is Draymond Jones? And Surtain gets beat badly. And I feel bad for him. He got no defensive line help, number one. This isn't his specialty. We bring this stuff up. We don't just roll out of bed. Here's the film. Just watch it for yourself. And there are plenty of other receivers out there besides Shepard that can easily, turn it on, turn it out. I just also want to say that this isn't what Fangio wants. Putting Surtain in the slot is coming above Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio is not a big fan of putting Surtain in the slot for the same reasons we talked about, but that decision's coming up, and it isn't George Payton, just to let you know. Now, 8:21 in the second quarter, I just want to show a run by Gordon, and this is something we didn't see really until about the 10th game of the season. The vision, again, instead of Gordon running into his blockers, he has a little bit of patience, and I want to give him a little credit here. This is actually a good, solid run on his part. Offense just gives him just enough to squeeze on by. Now, earlier I said I had a problem with those go routes. Just to let you know, this has been a series so far by the Denver Broncos where the offensive line has been consistent. I don't just bitch for a reason to bitch. Because when you get a consistent offensive line, you get plays like Noah Fant doing, again, kind of like a Kelsey Gronkowski kind of a play, So, but the O-line really has made, this is easy. Bridgewater block doesn't matter. This just makes it easier on your quarterback. Although the very next play, here's where pass breakdown happens, and this may have been an assignment that Williams blew, the rookie. Nobody's there to pick up the free runner. If Williams did not blow his assignment, then this is a really horrible play design. Again, similar to what I was saying last year. Though, the more I looked at this play, the more this looks more like last year's crap play design by Shermer. Again, just on a 3rd down and 9, pass bro picks itself back up again, gives Bridgewater the exact time he needs. Poor coverage by the Giants leads into a 1st down, but by Judy. But it's the blocking that really made it work. Also, I just want to say this is where I guess I say it's the best defensive. The best defense for the Broncos was this chewing up of the clock. The Giants just don't have a good offense, and what scares me is the little time they had, they were able to really move the ball. And then pointed out reasons why that was happening. So I do have concerns for this team. It'd be nice if they can be like this more this season offensively, being able to be ball hogs. That's why I say you don't need 70-yard Mahomes bombs, Aaron Rodgers bombs. In today's NFL, this Brady ball, I call it Brady ball, chewing the clock up, moving the sticks 10 yards at a time. That's really what wins you games in today's NFL. Now, again, the Broncos' red zone woes. I want to talk about Albert O's fumble. These kind of things do happen, but this could have been avoided. Albert O, he's looking at the goal line. I know it's tempting. You can't focus on that without realizing where your where the defender is. That ball should have already been shifted to the other side long before that guy got there. As he's approaching, you just got to have the instinct to shift that ball at the right time so that this doesn't happen. Let me do this 2-minute drill play by play. 1st and 10, 2-minute drill. Yep, little Brady ball right there. Dumping it to the tight end, Schobert. It's 3rd and 8. He's got to convert a 3rd down, 2-minute drill. O-line's doing a decent job. Like I said, this is total Brady ball right now. Right in front of the quarterback, these throws are. Working the sidelines. Keep that sideline working. Step out of bounds. Patrick knows that drill well. Then we get our tight ends working the way they should. Good heavy tight end set. Patrick gets himself free and clear, big body, and that'll get you. That's how you get the red zone. That's how you work the red zone right there. That could have worked with the tight end too. One play design note: check out Sutton. He clears that space for Patrick. I know everybody likes the 70-yard Mahomes bombs. We just get all excited. Again, like I said, chewing the clock up is really a defense all to itself. But I think I just want to show a throw. It's not something that most people look at, but this really is a good throw and an aware throw, and a throw that protects your receiver too, and a great catch too, because you got to be a good receiver to catch these low balls. But he puts the low ball where it needs to be caught. It's 14-20 into the game. I know there's not an appreciation for that, but Teddy was pretty precise in this game, and that's the kind of Teddy Bridgewater we need. Now, some of the red zone woes is where I kind of would like to see Locke, where I think that arm strength comes in a little bit better and is a little bit needed. But moving the ball down, this is the kind of stuff they should be doing with Teddy Bridgewater. In this next play at 14, just a little over 14, this is just, again, the offensive line doesn't do the greatest job. It could be better, could be worse, though, too, but they're getting pushed back. But Bridgewater gets kind of lucky, too, that he doesn't stumble and fall. But give Bridgewater credit and Patrick credit for really concentration on two guys' parts, making this 3rd down work. Now, we talk about Glasgow. Glasgow is clearly overmatched and being pushed right into Teddy Bridgewater, which almost destroys the whole play. Fortunately, Bridgewater's a bit nimble, but this for a lot of quarterbacks, even Teddy Bridgewater, this could have actually been a lot worse. But we're not just on Glasgow because we hate the Broncos. This is the stuff we see on film constantly. And it just drives us crazy. Now, this next play, it may not seem a lot to a lot of people, but this is huge for Williams. Williams is totally patient. Something that he's definitely being coached, because it's kind of a deal with Williams. And it's not just us. A lot of people have brought this up with the Williams pick. But this is really encouraging to see him being patient, waiting for his blocking to be set up. This is what you want. This is really encouraging stuff. When I see that, I really like this pick more than I did in the beginning. But like I said, it's not all just on these players. It's real important for all of you to understand it's developing players. That's what it's really about. Not just drafting, but developing players. Blocking totally makes this happen. Alberto going to the tight ends, which to me is your bread and butter, along with these, but I'm glad they got out of the three, strictly three wide receiver sets. And I didn't say they needed to get it totally away from it, but, when the blocking's working, magic happens. Just want to discuss the dropsy doodle by Hamler. You got Bridgewater throwing it right in the breadbasket. Of course, the offensive line is really being consistent in their blocking. This is a happenstance drop because receivers tend to look over. They favor a left shoulder or a right shoulder. Hamler, if he looks to his right instead of his left, this is probably going to be a touchdown, but he has to actually bring his body all the way over. But him having to turn his body is never a good thing for a receiver. So with around 9.5, Teddy Bridgewater gets a coverage sack. It's totally on him. He's got to have a bit more pocket presence than this, but judging the game that he had, he's, I guess, entitled one myth, but he's definitely got to be careful that he doesn't get into a habit of that. 3rd and 7, picking up those third downs is critical. Excellent blocking by the offensive line. An absolute pinpoint throw by Bridgewater. Judy pops up and gets the ball. I'm very, very happy to see this with Judy. We need consistency from him. And we also need him to toughen up a little bit and not crawl into a shell. You're going to get hit. So just keep it up. I think Judy I would rest him with all the receivers the Broncos have are capable receivers. There's no sense in putting Judy out there until he's completely healed, because that'll just nag all season long if they bring him back too early. Now, on the Broncos' second touchdown, I think they kind of got away with one with this. I think the Giants, it was a breakdown on their part more than anything else, because they really, the play design just wasn't that great. I'm more of a fan of going for it on 4th and 1 down there at the red zone than a 4th and 7. But the Broncos, in my opinion, get away with one. The Giants, they just was sloppy on their part. But they've been out there for a long time, too. And this is where I say the time of possession becomes the best defense you ever had. And it just took a beating on the Giant defense. And this is where it really comes up and helps you out. If you've been able to get consistent offensive line play, keep the chains moving. You don't have to throw 80-yard bombs all the time. I know people love it, but these are just the things that end up winning the games for you. Gordon had a really good game, but we've seen him, run the touchdown, and the fact that athleticism, that's what you paid the $2 million for, is for that. But what really needs to be shown is the blocking that led to that. Right here you have Schaubert, of course, favored around Mile High View. Alberto throwing that next tier up block, and Massey. These are all key. Oh, and Sutton. Sutton's block is key as well. Believe it or not, maybe a small part, but everybody has to blocking is everything. You just, when you see that, you see everybody, on assignment. Now it's adios, amigo. I mean, forget it. You're late to the party, dude. This is a touchdown. Well, this is about everything I had to point out. Hopefully that the Broncos can use these next 2 games. Jacksonville, it's not about overlooking them. It's about, cleaning up mistakes that you made during the Giants game. And that's about all I have to say.